watching is live. It's what's happening at this moment on a tiny pinpoint on the map of the United States, the North Wilkesboro Speedway in North Wilkesboro, North Carolina. This is a big day for the people of this tiny crossroads. It's the day of the Grand National Stock Car Race. That day in the springtime when the famous stock car racers of the country descend from the super speedways, from Daytona and Talladega, from Darlington and Charlotte and Atlanta, and come to the little 5/8 of a mile track here in North Wilkesboro.
Last year felt like a dream. Man, I hope my goal is my kids and grandkids get to see this place, you know, one day, just like I'm getting to right now, because it's turned my life around.
North Wilkesboro, North Carolina, and beautiful North Wilkesboro Speedway. Place that so many of us love for so many different reasons. I grew up just loving this racetrack from afar. I didn't grow up down here, but such a historic racetrack, hosting NASCAR racing since its inception. The first year, 1949, it was on the schedule. But after 1996, the last race here, the last Cup Series race here, it sat abandoned, became a lost speedway. And many of us visited it in its abandoned state for years, praying it would come back. But it did last year in a glorious fashion. And it was neat to see modifieds and the late models back on track here. And this year, of course, the big news of the NASCAR All-Star Race and the Cars Tour returning, ASA. I figured there'd be nobody better to talk to here at Wilkesboro about its comeback and about what this place really means than a driver that's in the Cars Tour race from North Wilkesboro. But not just from North Wilkesboro, the guy literally grew up right here on this property, Dylan Wilson.
But it seems that you caught me at the right time. Pull up a chair, the next round is on me.
All right, beautiful Carolina blue skies here in North Wilkesboro, North Carolina, and I'm hanging with my buddy Dylan Wilson. And there's a reason why. We're not just here because it's North Wilkesboro Speedway, man. This is your compound. This is where you grew up.
That's right, this is home, man. This is my grandparents' land, but I grew up just across the road in a single wide trailer. Lived here for...
That one right there?
Yeah, every single summer I've basically lived here growing up, riding go-karts, dirt bikes, everything, hanging out with my grandpa and cousin and all that good stuff. But
so this go-kart track, when you were a kid, you made a lot of laps here?
Hundreds of thousands, I would imagine. I mean, they used to do rental kart racing here even after the track closed down, and I would race on Thursday Night Thunder when I was like 10, 11 against full-grown men that had had a few beers. So that's where I cut my teeth at, I guess. I wasn't racing the real sanctioned stuff. I was running rental karts here and helping the family business kind of stay going even when the racetrack was closed. But boy, how the times have changed in the last 20 years. So it's unbelievable. I'm still in shock. I haven't tried to come here much because I wanted it to be like a very special feeling being here for the first time whenever we race here in a few weeks.
Oh, you raced here when we were here, but you said you hadn't been in there?
Haven't been in the track since
the renovations?
Since the renovations whatsoever.
Jeez.
So Thursday I went there and got my trailer, and then ain't been back in since. And
wow.
It's been, close to a year. So
you know we're going to take you in there.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, my eyes might get a little sweaty because it's gonna just how many times I've seen it as a ghost town.
Yeah.
Vines growing everywhere. I proposed to my wife there in 2020 because I thought they were going to tear it down. Like I thought that's what was next. And next thing you know, Junior was out there weed eating the track, and that whole group, and it's just snowballed. I mean, just out of control. Never thought that it would get to this point ever again. Can't say I didn't hold hope, because I knew it was a structure. I knew the asphalt was okay. I've seen it all the time, and everybody was wondering, like, if they did it, they'd have to repave it. But they didn't, and here we are. They listened to the car store drivers, I think, a little bit. Like, this asphalt is perfect. Don't change this asphalt. Don't put dirt on it. It's going to be fine. It's perfect racing, and I think people are going to be in for a treat here in a few weeks.
So, so a little bit more about this compound. Okay, so you grew up there. Then, what did you move across the street here? Or?
Well, this is my great-grandparents' house.
Really?
Yeah, my great-grandpa. He was kind of the warden of the racetrack, and sort of, I mean, was one of the main parts and reasons it got built. So he built this house and lived on this land as the track was flourishing all through the 50s, 60s, 70s, and just kind of watched over it, handled all the parking. Most of what we're standing in now at one point was just a cow farm field, but it turned into go-kart tracks and parking spots and all that good stuff. So, you know, just so much family history. My grandpa's cup shop's right there. My grandpa's bass shop.
Wait, hold on. So your grandpa's what?
Cup shop.
That was his cup shop?
He raced cup out of that shop for a couple of years. He didn't have a ton of starts, but he ran top 10 several times, and you know, ran against some of the best of all time. I mean, in the 80s, 84 is when he was racing. So you're literally racing against the prime of NASCAR. So you know, unbelievable talent he was up against, and raced as a little pioneer privateer team, I should say, out of Wilkesboro.
Did your dad race out of that shop too?
Dad raced one of my grandpa's cars at one point. He kind of hired my grandpa to be his crew chief, and then met my mom, who's my grandpa's daughter. And so I've got it on both sides of the family. My dad moved here from Texas to pursue racing, and met my grandpa, and just so happened it was in North Wilkesboro, and that's where I ended up. So I got a little bit of Texas in me, a little bit of North Wilkesboro, so you know, 50-50 on that, but it's just a lot of cool family history in racing, that's for sure.
So when that shop stopped racing, what did it become?
For a while, it was allegedly, they made some shine in there.
Allegedly?
Yeah, you know, got busted for allegedly making shine, but that's part of it.
He was just, you know,
I mean,
artistry?
It was just pure artisanal is all it was, just
not
for
going
fun.
to distribute.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who would
not
do that? So,
but allegedly got busted for making, and but he ended up.
Which is great because you've got this sponsor now.
The
now, brewery where they're making
making alcohol. So it's neat, man. It goes full circle. My grandpa, you know, spent his whole life racing and moonshining, and in this same area, and it was very prevalent. Even 30, 40 years ago, it was still pretty popular. So
that's what these hills are known for.
It was a bit
North
of
Wilkesboro.
you know, it's kind of an outlaw state a little bit here, right? I mean, it's a cool area, you know, and my grandpa wasn't the only one for sure. So it was everywhere, but you know, they took that stuff really seriously in these parts, and a lot of people like to say Franklin County is the capital of moonshine, but no, it's not. You're standing in it.
Do you liken yourself a little bit to an outlaw? You know, you got some of these young kids that are coming in, you know, as a rookie, but you're, you know, a little bit older, you know, you're not this PC polished guy. You've got your own deal, your own personality, you know, you like to live life.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd consider myself an outlaw, but I would definitely say that I've done it a little bit differently. You know, most people that get the chance that I have right now are, you know, 8 years younger than me, you know, 19, 20 years old. So it is unique being 27, being a rookie in the car store, and really this is my first ever full season in late model stocks. I mean, I've never really ran a full season of anything. So just kind of picked and choose fun races when I could throughout my life, and when we could scramble some tire money together, we would race. And then just so happened that Wilkesboro came around last year. I looked in the area for some local sponsors that might want to be a part of Wilkesboro, and ended up signing a contract to race car store with a brewery in North Wilkesboro in 2 boroughs. So it's just crazy how everything snowballed, and now we have a legit partnership and a race team and multiple race cars. So it's just crazy. It just sprouted from nothing. But like I said, don't really think I'm an outlaw, but I definitely took a little bit different path, and I'm glad I've done it at this age. I missed out on some things, sure, not being younger, right? But I definitely think that I've got to see a little bit more how the world works, right? Like, I know a little bit more what it's all about. I'm here to have fun. I'm here to enjoy it with my family. Here to try to put on for North Wilkesboro, you know, and hopefully make a few of those people proud this year.
Yeah, it all comes full circle too, from a little single wide trailer, the moonshine to brewery story. It's pretty darn cool.
Yeah, a whole lot of it around here, that's for sure.
Start the car, I'll meet you out there. We're coming home. The wind
All right, man, what are we looking at here on the property?
Well, this is an old Pontiac. I think my grandpa bought it to fix it up at one point, but he always liked it. Never got around to fixing it, obviously, but kind of turned into a lawn ornament, I guess. And it's sort of an homage to my great-grandfather, Jack Combs. He was a car salesman in the area, in the warden kind of the racetrack, and an owner at one point. So this is just kind of our little replica car we made him so he can hang out with us while we're watching some races this year.
Thing's cool, dude.
It is cool. It's a little beat up. I wish it ran and like the interior was nice and stuff, but like it really is an awesome little piece to sit here, that's for sure. My grandpa had plenty of cars that we got out of here just to fit for parking in the shack there. So,
well, I didn't realize when we were down the hill before how close we really are to the racetrack. So like when you're a little kid, you could just pretty much just walk.
Yeah, I mean, we eat Thanksgiving and Christmas dinner in there. Like this is where we do it. It's just always been here.
Having a racetrack is like, I couldn't imagine like having a racetrack in your backyard, like literally.
It's crazy, and for so many years I didn't know what that felt like because it was dormant, right? I mean, they just didn't do anything there, and now it's starting to be surreal. I mean, a racetrack's one thing, but a Cup All-Star racetrack, I mean, are you kidding me? Like, not only that, but one of the most famous tracks of all time. I mean, it's unbelievable, and not to use that word too much, but that's just how it feels, man. It's crazy that everything worked together so fast to make it. Like, I was racing dirt bikes this was a dirt bike track 10 years ago, and I was trying to race dirt bikes. I'd wreck every lap, but I was just riding dirt bikes, having a good time, and then now that's just sprouted up. I mean, it was just rotten fence, and you could just hear stories about the racing my whole life, how good the racing was, how the worn out surface was, how many people was here. And then all of a sudden, in the middle of 2022, all these cars just sprouted up out of the ground and filled the whole hill up. And everything that my family had told me their whole lives, my whole life, just came true. I got to see it. I know what it's like now. And then not only that, I got to race in it. So, I mean, it's crazy. It still is.
Well, let's go, I mean, since it's so close, we don't have to drive there. Let's go walk there.
Just walk right up. Not too far of a walk.
Come on, Jack. Coolest dog ever.
He is a cool dog.
You said you hadn't been in here since the renovations had started, so this is the perfect opportunity.
Yeah.
The cool thing is they haven't really changed this.
No.
The Winston Cup Series, the faded paint.
Yeah.
Still looks cool.
Not at all. You know, if you look closely, you can actually see Combs Tower still underneath the cup part. So,
oh yeah.
Yeah, that's my grandparents or family's name, Combs. At one point, this was the tower. This was their home base. That's where they'd watch the race from and stuff. So I hope
named after them.
Named after them. They changed it to the Winston Tower though once they sold it. So I feel like every previous owner's name should be recognized if they do repaint this wall, right?
Well, just don't repaint it. Just keep at least we know that it says Combs right there.
Well, I've thought about it in my head. Like after I finish the race, as long as I finish the race, I'm gonna get out, bring a big Combs Tower decal, and stick it on the wall if they repaint it. Just leave it like that.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I think it'd be all right. I think it'd be neat.
Let's go check out the grandstands.
Do it.
Come on, Jack. Look at all this construction. They are working.
God.
It's gonna probably be nonstop work until the day you're racing.
I know. That sounds like it. I mean, it looks like. Jeez. Yeah. Hey, you can tell the Cup Series is coming. Holy cow. I mean, the pit road paving is unbelievable, right?
Look at the infield, how nice it looks with the pave job.
I mean, I think they did just the right amount, right?
Yep.
Like they kept that vintage look. The fence, safer barrier, just weird seeing that, like.
But still that same awesome ribbon of asphalt.
The same, that's all that matters. You can do whatever you want to the rest of the racetrack. But for as long as that asphalt stays, you're gonna have unbelievable racing. Like, each and every time you have put a car on this track, it'll be a good race as long as you've got old asphalt, or at least well planned out new asphalt, right? So,
Is this weird for you, like seeing all the construction going on and seeing a new building over there instead of the collapsed one?
this is, I mean, this is legitimately the first time I've seen it. So yeah, super weird, man. Like I love, they still got the old grandstand chairs. I've sat in these multiple times. It's almost like you've, it feels like you're like time traveling, right? Like backwards. Like it does look modern, but it's, I'd imagine this is what my grandpa felt like before, you know, a cup race on a weekend if they made any kind of substantial upgrade. But these lights and the, you know, all the, just putting the paneling up and kind of keeping that vintage feel and stuff, like,
I think that's a nice touch.
I think it's a really nice touch.
You could have easily come in here and like completely modernize this
Oh,
place.
yeah, they could have done
with
every
glass
building
and
like that,
mirrors
right?
but it wouldn't feel the same.
No,
You know?
it wouldn't feel the same. I mean, that's a lot of seats right there.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
This place is going to be legit, dude.
it's crazy.
Legit.
I can't believe how much they've got done in a short amount of time. 'Cause
Yeah.
this is a lot of stuff that they've done. Because last year, she looked like she'd aged for a while. So it's just pretty wild.
Let's go down where you've sat before and go down in the seats. So I want to go sit down in these grandstands.
Always right up here in the middle.
All right, man, finally down in the bleachers here, getting to sit down and really soak in being here at the place that, you know, you grew up at. What are your thoughts even just being down here?
Well, you know, initially it's emotional, right? Like it's always going to be emotional sitting here because I did it so many times in my childhood and even just the past several years. The progress is unbelievable. Like the paved pit road, I mean, we seen it when we first walked in, but sitting here and just seeing everything look like a new racetrack it's pretty wild.
The road is ours, the best is yet to come.
What is this, I don't even know if you can put this into words, I guess, but like, what does this place mean to you?
I don't know. Like you said, it's hard to put it into words, but it's really been everything to me. It really has. I mean, from the start, my earliest memories are here.
What are those earliest memories?
I guess riding bicycles here and running in these stands wide open with my cousin and friends and sneaking in through the fences and just walking the track or riding skateboards or, you know, just a little bit of everything.
So was this like a playground for you then?
It was a playground for me, you know, when we respected it. Yeah, I mean, just so much of that, so much riding and running, and it just looked so, exploring was something that I got into in my later years. Like early on was just having fun, right? Being the reckless kid out here on the racetrack. But as I got older, it turned into me going through the old driver lounges and everything. And there was a ton of stuff in there as far as notebook. I mean, everything was pretty much already out of there, but there was some notebooks with qualifying laps and the names on it was it was Richard Petty and all the big boys. So every step of this place I've walked at some point in my life and probably sat in just about every single chair of these bleachers. So I can proudly say that I'm probably the only one that's done that. So I intend on having another good time this year, but right now it's just a feeling of near euphoria. You know, it's crazy to see it to get to this point.
What are some of the stories that you heard about this place from your family, from your grandpa, especially, living literally within a stone's throw from here?
Yeah. Man, so many of them. I've heard about the poker games and the drivers hanging out here and the parties and the good times they had. I've heard about my grandpa driving the water truck when he was about 8 years old when this place was a dirt track. And I've also heard about him being a self-proclaimed security guard and him coming out here when he was about 12 and shooting up in the air at people with a .22 because they were breaking in the track. So there's been a lot of stuff, man. I've heard a ton of stories. Most importantly is just all the memories of my family had their own grandstands area, like the old ball field grandstands, the wooden ones. They had one. It was called the home section, and they would sit over there. And
where was it?
It was in turn 3. That's why we
so
sat
it's like
there.
Right past the Junior Johnson
Yes,
grandstands?
yeah, right there with them. My
wow.
grandpa and Junior were good friends, so that they kind of had their areas together and stuff. I don't know by design or not, but it worked out good for them, for the families. And yeah, they had an area right there that my whole family, everybody that was blood related to my family would sit there. And they had their own spot in turn 3, and they'd ride their car, park right behind it, come see the race. No tickets, no armbands, nothing, just come see it. All the way to 96, never made a difference. So we did this same thing last year. Not sure if we were really supposed to, but the fence was open. That's where the RVs were. That's where my family's grandstands were, and that's where I parked my truck, and we sat there and got dusted by the modifieds the first night. First time I got to see modifieds on the track and stuff. So dude, it was just so many memories like that. Just and those same bleachers are the same bleachers at the go-kart track now. So so many laps have been watched on those bleachers before. So just so much history, so many stories I could sit here and tell for hours.
We are set for the green flag here at North Wilkesboro for the 93rd time and final time for a NASCAR Winston Cup race. The green flag is waving and the Tyson Holly Farms 400 is underway.
The last race here. Where were you? How old were you?
It was in 1996.
Yep.
Jeff Gordon won the race. It was 96. I was about 3 months old.
Oh, wow.
And it was, my mom brought me up here. It was my first race I ever attended and the last race ever here. So it's pretty neat to even think about that. I've always been told I sat on Darrell Waltrip's lap in the driver's meeting and got to spend time with a bunch of Cup drivers when I was a little bitty newborn kid. So yeah, like I said, it's everything to me. It's hard to put into words what this place is because it's been my whole life. It's the first race I went to, the first event I went to probably. So it's just, I was a 3-year-old infant the last time they raced here, and then last year racing here I was a 26-year-old driver in the race.
Wow.
So, it's pretty neat.
What about your name?
Yeah, so my dad tells me that they were gonna name me something else. I'm not sure what it was, but it ended up selling with Dylan, DW. And he was jacking for Darrell Waltrip at the time. And,
at this race,
At
right?
this race, yeah, was jacking for Darrell, and ended up naming me Dylan. And when I was born, Darrell Waltrip sent me a jacket that says to little DW from big DW. So I've always kind of been DW to all my family and friends in life too. So definitely not the biggest DW name out there, but be one of the only ones in the Wilkesboro race this year for sure. So it'll be pretty neat.
We're talking about, obviously lost speedways have a feel to it. What did this place what was the feel about this place when you were here and it was quiet and it was lone, it was desolate?
Tragic, I think, is the word to explain it, because you could see the asphalt wasn't falling apart, just had some grass growing through it, and the typical wear and tear you see on asphalt tracks that's been sitting around for a while. So I always knew that it was raceable, and once I got into racing myself in full-bodied stock cars, I paid more attention to that stuff and got to see it. But dude, the buildings were collapsing, the stands were rusty, everything just, it got pretty scary looking, right? And in 2020, I proposed to my wife here on the front stretch at the start-finish line. That picture is grown up, and that was right before I guess Dale and you and all those guys came here and cleaned the place up. And it looked rough then. I mean, you guys seen it when you first got here, so that's what I seen for 15 years. It looked like that. I mean, after they had the pass race here, there was nothing for years and years and years. So the amount of decay that this place was in. It looked like an apocalyptic state compared to now. I mean, it's just crazy how much it's changed over a year.
When did you first hear about, you know, Dale and us coming here and iRacing to scan this place and clean it up? When did you first hear about that, and what was your feelings?
They kind of just showed up. Like, I mean, there was some
We were
Twitter
here for a few days.
There was some Twitter talk about it, and
we kept it secret
and whatnot, and it was pretty quiet. And I guess I got to that point where I didn't want to feel like a invader, right? You guys
Yeah.
were up here doing your thing, and
but dude, it's in your backyard.
It is, you know. And my grandpa, he supervised a little bit and came
Yeah.
to see what was going on. But even at that time, it was like, I'm glad they're preserving it before it gets torn down,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and to scan it, and so it
Yeah.
would be forever on iRacing.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember standing there with Marcus and Dale and thinking, okay, well, this is just amazing because we'll have it forever.
Yeah.
But not thinking at that time
Not at all.
that it would actually come back in the
I didn't
real
even
world,
think
not
at
just a
that
sim,
time.
you know?
Yeah, I didn't think at that time either. I mean, I don't think I ever did until they announced that we were actually supposed to race here. And even when they did that, it was still like, oh, I just want to get there. That way they can't cancel it or nothing can happen, right? Because first couple months were a little grim, right, before the car store got involved, and you didn't really know what the deal was. And the only reason I got in the race is I was the first guy to sign up. It wasn't really because of who I was or what I had done in the past. So many people tried to get in that race. I just signed up as soon as it became available, paid my $200, and I was going to be in a late model race no matter what, just to say I did it. And all of a sudden, Car Store took it over. Now I'm running full time in the tour. So, I mean, it's just a crazy scenario that worked out. But man, what a snowball it's been. But it's been a journey, and it's just so delightful to see the way things have grown in a good way around this place.
There was so much effort for so many years, you know, so many people, so many movements.
Yeah.
You know, there was a lot of bitterness, you know, for a while when this place closed down locally.
Yeah.
A lot of bitterness.
A lot.
Can you even put into words, you know, the bitterness to the hope, then to the more bitterness to some movements, but not really gaining traction to all of a sudden, you know, let's be honest, Dale's a rock star. He didn't save this track. None of us all saved this track, but like, you know, Marcus Smith, that horsepower helped, you know, convince Marcus. Like, what does it mean to a local? You're a local here. You lived right here. What does it mean to go through all that cycle and all that Save Wilkesboro and to see that and see this?
It was a journey, like you said, a lot of highs and lows. I think, you know, I was too young to really know how it was when it first closed, but I know that my grandpa had a lot of anger in his heart because of the way that it ended, the way that it stopped, and the dates moving to tracks that didn't need those dates, and understanding that NASCAR outgrew the area, but also realizing that at the end of the day, your roots is what got you here, right? And this track was every bit of capable as a facility all through the years it was closed. And it was unfortunate that it happened, but I'm not here to dwell on the past. You know, it's back.
Now I get to see the banner to my left, "We got you back." It's a really special thing when you can have a big idea that seems kind of crazy and you can actually make it happen.
Dude, I mean, how do you even explain it, right? Like, it's just all the years of the unrest of not knowing what was next. Seeing my grandpa's, like, man, he was kind of watching his heart break, right? Because he watched his whole life happened here, whole life. His dad built the place, his uncle built the place. He spent he never worked a real job. He worked here, like it was his place. And he watched his heart break over it, right? Like, for years. Never seen him, just never seen him, but got to see the pure joy in his eye last year when it came back. And now he's wide open again, right? He's got the go-kart track going. He's got, just all sorts of parking stuff going on. We've got venues we're working on and stuff. So it was a lot of rumors, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of lies, a lot of people that said they had money and was going to do stuff with the track. They said they was going to sell the track from it. That was the deal for a long time. The track was for sale, but it was a pretty ridiculous amount of money. We were just like, wow, that'll never sell. Nobody will ever buy that. It's in ruins. Well, I'm glad nobody did buy it, because then Marcus wouldn't have been able to do what he did. I mean, you know, thank God for Wilkes County, beer, and Marcus Smith. That's kind of the three pillars of life right now for me. So he made a lot of things happen here, and I'll forever be thankful for him and his family for bringing this place back to what it is, and also the local community. Like, they showed all that support whenever it started, the rumblings happened. Exactly. You seen the whole town light up, like, we'll be here. And before the late model race, even Dale said, y'all have got to come to the race. You've got to show them that you want to be there. And boy, did he probably regret that. I mean, because we were sitting on the grid 30 minutes before the race, and they came and said, we got to delay it. They're backed up 7 miles down the road.
I was one of them.
Yeah. So, yeah, probably had plenty of the turnout. I remember seeing Marcus Smith, and I mean, he had no idea who it was, shook his hand, said thanks, but you could see the look in his eyes, just kind of looking around during the modified race even. I couldn't imagine seeing him on the Cars Tour night. I didn't see him that night, but I seen him even on the mod night, and he was looking around like, wow, how electric is this?
Can you explain to me what the first time was like when you rolled out of pit road there and you hit that track that you walked around as a little kid or rode your bike around, and now you're in a race car?
Oh yeah, no, I got emotional. I definitely cried. My eyes got pretty watery. I mean, they get watery now thinking about it, right? Like, I mean, it's
natural.
It was something I had looked forward to from I was 4 years. I mean, my first memory, is here. Like, everything I've ever done in my life that's been important has been here or about this place. So just pulling out on the track, like the first lap, it was emotional, but it was also nerve-wracking because I was racing against the best. I was racing against Dale Jr. I mean, I hadn't raced in 3 years before that. I'd pretty much gotten done. I was ready to pack it up, start filming people, and just make a career out of racing rather than driving. And here I am, back full at it. So Dale Jr. pulling off pit road at the same time, and I'm like, man, what is happening right now? Why am I here? Why am I the one doing this? And, moments before the race, I think, is when things started really hitting me. Walking out, driver intros with my grandpa, that was definitely the most emotional moment for me of the day. The most eyeballs on you, and then the pace laps when they lit all the phone lights up and stuff, that was super special to me, and that was the first time I've ever paid attention to anything outside. Like, as soon as I get in a race car, you just lose sight of life.
Yeah.
Not that race. I was, the whole time, I caught myself multiple times kind of like, God, I mean, the backstretch felt slow because I was just like looking at stuff, especially during caution laps. Dude, I was junk giving feedback because I was just like, look at this. Look at all the people on the backstretch. There's more people, and Dad's like, Dylan, what is the car doing? You look loose. I'm like, I am loose, but it's all right. We'll just figure it out, so. I just had a good time, man, and I still try to race with that same prowess, but a little more intensity probably. It feels more real life now. Last year felt like a dream, but man, I hope my goal is my kids and grandkids get to see this place, one day, just like I'm getting to right now, because it's turned my life around, just in a great way. Just see it, just becoming a reality. Just never seemed like a reality to me. And now this is, I mean, my family, this is a business for us. Like, they don't own the track anymore, but a lot of parking, right? The go-kart track, a lot of sponsorship for my racing comes in because of Wilkesboro. So, like, it's a huge part of our life, and I'll never take that for granted.
I asked you about what it was like the first time you were on the track. Look at this. This is like almost like we're living in the sim sitting here.
That's how it feels, right? I mean, it really does feel like that. I don't know how to, I mean, I was not lying when I told you I have not been here since I raced here. I have not been inside the track, and I wanted it for this reason, so I could sit here and come and just get to feel it again, right? Get to feel that new track feel. It looks phenomenal. I mean, they're working on Victory Lane and repainting the checkerboard up top, and like my great grandfather was kind of the person that overseen building Victory Lane right here, and also built the lift. He was one of the main guys on the lift, and the lift is a really cool feature that I hope they continue to use. I don't guess they have a choice. But dude, I mean, I'm telling you, I can't tell you how many times I've sat up there and wondered what it'd have been like. Not even sat up there and been like, God, I would love to win, and I'll be such a good driver, and I'll do this and that. It wasn't that. It was just like, I want to see what it's like. Just me pulling in after finishing 18th or whatever in the race here last year, getting to look and see that, you know, victory lane with Carson and Dale up there winning last year. It was like getting to see it happen. No matter who was up there, it was just like, that's what my great grandfather was the reason that's here. That's here because of him, and Dale and Carson wouldn't be standing up there if it wasn't for him doing that. They would still probably be a normal victory lane or something, you know? Looking forward to May, yes, I'm absolutely looking forward to May. My whole season, this is why I race the car store, is to run this race. All the other racing's great. I'm having the time of my life racing. I'm getting to do this as a 27-year-old has been, and here we are at Wilkesboro. Like, this is why I'm doing it. It's Wilkesboro. You know, everything's built on Wilkesboro for me, and it probably will be for the rest of my life because it always has been until now. I just didn't really know it.